How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to AZ Trading. Hope you're all doing well. Today is the 18th of October, the Tuesday. We're back on the US30, the Dow Jones, and we've captured this short position over here during the London session, which didn't last very long. However, we still managed to capture around 200 points. If you haven't seen my previous video, I go over my entire thoughts and analysis on how we caught this large bullish move. And at the end of the video, I mentioned I was letting a final partial run to these higher time frame equal highs, which we can see was hit just before the end of the day. So check out that video if you'd like to see how we caught this bullish move. But enough about that. For this video, I'll be showing you guys the strategy that we used to capture this trade, as well as a trading concept that I use that I haven't talked about too much on this channel, which is using the EURUSD pair to time our entry positions as well as our exit positions. And if you guys have seen any of my previous videos, the pattern we primarily trade with is the RMR pattern. So the first thing we look for in the RMR pattern is the raid. And we know yesterday we just broke through those daily equal highs. So as soon as price reached through that area, this is what we can call the raid leg. And I just want to mention something briefly that I haven't talked about too much. But in order to find an A+ setup just for the raid must also reach a specific area. What I mean by this is if we zoom out to a 4-hour chart, we can see that we have this 4-hour gap over here. And if we look at where price was yesterday, you can see that price not only raided those equal highs, but also reached a 4-hour gap as well. So this would make the raid part an A+ raid. The next thing we look for is the market structure shift. So we were bullish during the raid. Next thing we look for are swing lows to be broken. And as soon as these swing lows are broken, this is what we can call the market structure shift. And finally, after the market structure shift, we can find a return area. So above we have this 3-minute gap, and also we have another gap over here as well. What this means is once price retraces into this return area, these can be opportunities for us to place our short entries. So if you're very on your toes and ready for this entry, you could place a short position right there with your stop loss at the raid's high over here, and then you can look for your partial areas below. However, in my case, I didn't manage to find my entry here, but price gave us another opportunity to enter, and this is where I placed that entry. I know you guys are quite familiar with this RMR pattern setup, so now I'll move on to talking about the trading concept of EURUSD and how looking at this Forex pair helped me find this entry. I've just clicked onto the EURUSD pair, and let's try and use the RMR pattern here as well. And we can see during the Asian session, we have this consolidation range with very clean relative equal highs. So if we break above that, this is what we can call the raid. And after the raid, we look for swing lows to break for a market structure shift. And finally, we look for a return area, so a gap where we wait for price to retrace into before we can place our short entries. And if you didn't know already, any pair crossed with the USD, like Euro and Pound USD, these pairs move inverse towards the DXY, which means they have the same general direction as the indices. So if we have a short idea that's brewing in the EURUSD, then we can also be looking for short opportunities in the indices. And as you can see, as soon as Euro pumped up and retraced into that return area at 357, back on the Dow Jones, you can see at 357, that's exactly when price retraced into that gap, giving us our short opportunity. I'll just quickly go through how I took my partials here. So for my objectives, I always look for areas of liquidity and gaps. So for my first partial, I took off half at this swing low. So this was an area of liquidity. And my second partial, where I took off 40%, if you look to the left, we have this gap over here. If I extend that one to the right, once price reached that area, I took off 40%, which left me 10% of my position to run. And at this point, I reduced my stop loss to break even, and I set my targets at these lows and these equal lows. However, you can see that I took off my final partial right over here at 642, and you might be wondering to yourselves, why did I take it off there? Did I see a strong bullish reaction and I got scared of holding on, so I decided to take off my position? Or did I find some sort of logical reason to take off my final position at this exact point in time? And once again, we'll just go back to the EURUSD. And if you imagine you had a short position here with your stop loss at the raid's high, are there any clean objectives that you would like to reach? And if you're looking what I'm looking at, we have a swing low over here and one over here as well. And these are relative equal lows. So underneath is resting sell side liquidity. And since it's quite clean, it is a very likely objective. So if you can have a guess what I did to take off my final partial on the Dow, you can kind of guess what I did as soon as EURUSD reached those equal lows at 642. If we have a look back on the Dow, exactly at 642, that's where I took off my final position. And just as a little hindsight bonus, you can see that if I just remained with my stop loss at break even, we would have been stopped, which to be honest, there's nothing wrong with. However, being able to see liquidity on the EURUSD to time your exits and entries on the indices can be a pretty powerful tool when used correctly. This is a pretty good example of objectives, since the first one was at an area of liquidity, the second one was an area of a gap, and the third one was a timed objective, which was liquidity but on a correlating market. And I've just got a few screenshots here that show my thoughts as this trade was playing out. These are the screenshots I put into my journal so I can see what I'm thinking and what my feelings are during the trade. So this first screenshot, we're on the EURUSD. I've seen these equal lows and I've written EURUSD has equal lows, so indices are likely to continue dumping. So my plan is to hold short on my Dow trade with no need to get out early with my stop loss at break even. And the second screenshot over here was taken at the same time, and I wrote a note about my own psychology. I saw this strong bullish movement. I said to myself, it seems like I really want to get out early just to hold on to my profits, but if I did so, that would be an emotional decision. And with trading, you want to practice making systematic choices all based on logic and not based on your emotions. So then I wrote EURUSD gives us a reason for price to go lower because of those equal lows. So I decided to hold on to my partial and time my objective with those equal lows. Alright guys, this was a pretty quick and snappy video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something new to help with your trading. Please leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. Leave a comment down below if you've got any questions. I'll get back to every single one of you. But until next time, take care everyone. Peace.